Favelas are working-class communities that have been historically neglected by the Brazilian government. For many people, favelas are synonymous with poverty and violence. And yet experts say these communities draw nearly 50,000 tourists every year.
Some companies explore the poverty and the violence and make this interesting for the tourists. I understand that some tourists search for this.
Lives in ROCINHA, Rio's largest favela. He began guiding tourists inside his community when he was 17 years old, first informally and then through an external agency. He says the agency always encouraged him to pump up the risk factor.
One thing I noticed with tourists is this idea of them wanting to engage in riskless risk, okay, and build a sort of cultural capital for themselves.
Dr. Ryan GOODE researched favelas as a doctoral candidate at San Diego State University. He says some tourists see real value in snapping a picture inside a dangerous favela and then transmitting that to their social network. San Diegans Tatiana Barbosa and Matt Morris traveled around the globe before landing in Rio and taking a tour last April. And while they expected a risky scene, it was the opposite.
Going into it, I was kind of nervous. I had no idea what to expect. I just heard bad things about it. Like, it was the slums, kind of like you'll get robbed. There's gangsters all over. There's a lot of gun shootings.
It was really calm when we were there. Actually, I felt pretty safe inside the favela than anywhere else in Rio de Janeiro.
Nearly 1/4 of Rio's population lives in a favela, and data shows about 65% of favela residents are actually middle-class families.
We have a fight, favelas communities have a fight to make people understand that we are part of the city.
GOODE says in the last couple of decades, movies and music videos have helped spark curiosity among visitors to Brazil. Morris and Barbosa took a tour with Favela Adventures, a company run by community residents. And GOODE says that matters. His research shows local agencies will almost always benefit communities more than an agency run by outsiders. Touring with a local allows the vast majority of profits to be reinvested in the favela.
A lot of the locally run agencies have excellent social programs where they're donating a lot of the profits from these tours back in the community.
Favela Adventures, for example, funds a free DJ school in ROCINHA. GOODE also points out walking tours with local guides can be more respectful to the community. A tour inside a van or a jeep keeps visitors away from interacting with the residents and gives the impression of a safari excursion. Despite that, a recent study conducted in ROCINHA found 84% of locals are happy to have tourists visit.
And then they welcome us, greet us, and have big smiles on their faces. Things like that. I just felt very welcomed.
Experts say favelas are so stigmatized by most Brazilians that local residents are moved to tourists visit and value their communities. For KPBS News, I'm Elma Gonzalez.